from the club, and Neil was another product of the club's academy, having joined from the scholarship programme at the age of 14 from local community club Halton Farnworth Hornets. It's too many H's national.
Callum with one L, I think, should be Calum.
Column, yeah.
Anyway, Bastien Adair will celebrate his 10th year with Toulouse Olympique after signing a new one-year deal. The 29-year-old has racked up over 160 appearances during that time, crossing for 77 tries, and has represented France 5 times, including at the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. And a few more championship lines to mention. Oldham have announced the signing of Tommy Brearley on a one-year deal. We didn't mention that already, did we? Lee forward Nathan Mason has signed a new deal for 2021, and Halifax have signed Greg Worthington from Toronto on a two-year deal for Greg Worthington ahead of the 2021 campaign. That's good news for Greg and his family.
Yeah.
And 4020 News reported their understanding that Lee have withdrawn their interest in participating in this autumn's proposed cup competition. The decision has cast fresh doubt over the viability of the tournament, with the majority of Championship and League One clubs having already announced that they do not wish to compete. It leaves only Batley, Dewsbury A and Dewsbury B who've confirmed their intentions to participate, with League One Barrow also understood to be keen on playing. So looks like Barrow are going to have to get themselves hunkered down in heavy woolen country. It ain't happening, is it?
No, I don't think so. It'll be interesting to see now the community clubs have been asked to put their expressions of interest in for local short form competitions for the autumn, so running in October and November. And it'll be interesting to see if we get anything in the autumn or if it's all going to be called off as well. But yeah, we shall see what happens there.
Yeah, hopefully some sort of thing can happen at the community level, because I think that's a different situation than these.
It is, yeah. The financial aspect isn't there, and it is more about getting people fit and active. So hopefully that's good. I mean, there's certainly the Pitsanger Panthers will be hoping to play in that, subject to being able to secure a training venue that's suitable and a few other things, but we hope that's a possibility.
Good stuff.
In other League One news, Ottawa have continued their 2021 recruitment by signing Warrington loose forward Ellis Robson and Workington Town hooker Dec O'Donnell. The 21-year-old Robson made a handful of appearances for the Wolves alongside spells on loan with Dewsbury, Widnes and Rochdale, and the former Wigan Academy product O'Donnell had a spell with Lee before arriving at the Cumbrian club this season.
Keighley Cougars have completed the signing of Fijian winger, so I am contractually obliged, as someone who's talking about rugby league, to say Fijian flyer, Robert Matamosi. The speedster joins the club after previously appearing for West Wales Raiders. Initially a rugby union player, he discovered the 13-a-side game in 2016 whilst with the British Army. So he's the new Ratu. Yeah, great. New bit of business for Keighley, who are building well for next year. Dale Bloomfield has signed a new one-year deal for 2021 with Rochdale Hornets. Bloomfield, who can't be only 31, returned to the Crown Oil Arena for his third stint with the club ahead of the 2020 campaign. Do you feel like he's one of them players who you think maybe is older than that just because every year there's a news story about him on Super League Pod?
It could well be.
Keighley have continued their recruitment for 2020 with the addition of Quintin Laulu Tongagai from League One rivals Newcastle. The 35-year-old, he's only the same age as me, former Sheffield, Toronto and Halifax player who usually operates at fullback, has agreed a new 2-year deal with the club. So, real statements of intent, isn't it, from the Cougars? And Hunter have announced the re-signings of Dwayne Strahia and Vila Halafili for the 2021 League One season. Both have agreed a 1-year deal that will keep them at South Leeds Stadium for next year.
Good for them. The RFL and BBC have confirmed a new schedule of televised Challenge Cup ties in September. The 6th round tie between Castleford and Hull will now be played on Sunday 13th of September at 3 o'clock, broadcast live on the BBC. The BBC has also selected 2 quarterfinals for live coverage. The following weekend, both on Saturday the 19th of September, Warrington versus St Helens at 2:30 and Wigan against the winners of Castleford Hull at 5 o'clock. The matches will be shown on BBC One and 2 respectively, and the RFL says that the venues for the free ties and details of the remaining quarterfinals will be confirmed as soon as possible.
I think it's great that we'll have Rugby League on BBC in back-to-back weekends.
On Saturday afternoon, it's a big time slot, and the football will only just be going back at that point as well.
I think it allows some momentum as well, doesn't it? Because they can have a game on the Sunday, and then the winner of that game will be shown the next week. So people who are kind of casual to the sport can kind of follow a narrative there really easily, which I think helps. And then bang on getting them onto the iPlayer to watch the Super League show on the Tuesday, and then you've got people more hooked into the sport. Yeah,
that's all positive, I think. I think it's good. Yeah, the BBC coverage is good. We saw at the weekend and the effort they put in sort of behind the scenes and the things like the montages and the feature packages are really top draw.
Yeah, definitely. I think that you're right. The little features are I don't want to say better than what Sky produce, because Sky don't produce that sort of thing now. They produce a different type of show, but it is. They are really good, and they don't patronise the hardcore Rugby League supporters, but at the same time they don't exclude people who don't know anything about the game or don't really know much about the game. And obviously Chappers is kind of like the absolute perfect presenter of any kind of fringe sport on the BBC.
He would be working for ESPN 8 The Ocho if he was in America.
Rugby League Cares has enhanced its support for the sports playing community with 2 key appointments to the charity's player welfare team. Former England, Wakefield, Wigan, London and Hull KR forward Francis Stevenson has taken on the role of transition manager, and Keith Senior, the former Great Britain, Sheffield and Leeds centre, joins the charity as community and welfare manager. Stevenson and Senior will work alongside the Welfare and Development Manager, Steve McCormack, who's a former Scotland Widnes, Whitehaven Barrow, Salford and Swinton coach, who have been leading the welfare provision since February 2019. The two had been working for the charity part-time, but now will lend their expertise and insight in full-time capacity with immediate effect. Their appointment comes at a time when Rugby League Cares has been providing unprecedented levels of support to the playing community as the sport continues to tackle the impacts of the global coronavirus pandemic. The ongoing health crisis has meant that RL Cares, an independent charity which has responsibility for delivering player welfare services to the professional game, is helping more players than ever before. Yeah, and if you do have some spare pennies, don't let the fact that you hate Leeds and that bald centre who used to always score against you, you don't want to pay him a salary or whatever. Don't let that put you off, because the main work is what it does for the community around our game in Rugby League Cares, and for the players when there's no other avenue of support as well. So it's great that they're appointing some full-time people to the roles. It's great that they're able to do that.
Yeah, when most places are downsizing, it's nice to have people that are taking on, especially in sport where lots of sports organisations are cutting roles left, right and centre. It's great that they're able to get such calibre of expertise. And if you read Keith Senior's book in particular, you see some of the things he went through and some of the struggles he had as a professional. And I think understanding that and his role as having been a coach as well at Sheffield, I think he's a really good appointment for that.
Yeah, and you say about sports teams are cutting jobs, well, charities as well. All the difficulties charities have faced this year with so many major fundraising events being taken away. I mean, Tara Jones did a cycle ride, didn't she? That raised money for part of that was raising money for Rugby League towards Rugby League Cares recently. So do look out for that. The funding page for that maybe as well, and throw in a few pennies if you can afford to help support our game, and Rugby League Cares really does that.
Yeah, and Ireland Rugby League have had to delay their triple header finals day, which is due to be held in Clada, who knows, someplace in Galway, last Saturday owing to reintroduced coronavirus restrictions in the region. After completing 3 weekends, the side split into 2 groups. The Galway Tribesmen and the Longhorns were due to contest the grand final with Cork Bulls. That sounds like something that William Watts was left with the other week. And Dublin City Exiles playing out for 3rd place. I've got a Dublin City Exiles shirt, actually, that arrived a couple of weeks ago. And Barracudas and Athboy Rams contesting 5th spot.
I think it's Clydach is how we pronounce it. It's Irish for the shore.
Okay, so it's somewhere with a beach.
It's where the River Corrib meets Galway Bay.
Ah, there we go.
There you go. Anyway, Ben Barber is in line for a shock return to Rugby League with Valencia Hurricanes. Barber, a Man of Steel winner back in 2018, has been out of the game since he was sacked for North Queensland Cowboys in 2019 before playing a game for them after an incident in a casino. He pleaded guilty to 3 charges: assault occasioning bodily harm, breaching bail conditions, and failing to complete a community service order. Basically, scumbag, became a bit more scumbaggy, and then failed to take responsibility for being a scumbag. But his rugby league career has been thrown a huge lifeline after Magistrate James Morton decided not to record a conviction on Barber's criminal record, despite him clearly pleading guilty to a criminal charge. What's going on here? You know, if you think the RFL put in 2-match bans that have already passed into place is fucking dodgy, then what about the judicial system in Australia? But anyway, James Morton decided not to record a conviction on Barber's criminal record as a result, an opportunity arises. Oh, hold on. This suggests this suggests that he didn't get given a criminal record because of the opportunity.
Yes.
Oh right.
Yeah.
So is this the Australian magistrate saying, go to Spain, get out of our country? We don't want your wife beating ways round our land. Maybe.
Well, it sounds like the fact that he's got the privilege of still playing professional sport means he's above the law.
It does, doesn't it? With Barber's lawyer confirming that a deal has been reached to join the Hurricanes to play in the Euro 13 competition. The solicitor Campbell McCallum said that Barber will have a clause in his Hurricanes contract that will allow him, if God forbid an NRL or Super League club make an approach for him.
Fucking ridiculous, isn't it?
I have a problem with people who fail
excuse shitty behaviour. Yeah.
For their behaviour, and clearly,
and also don't learn from previous. I mean, how many times he must know his way to the courthouse pretty well by now.
Well, I don't know, because before he's managed to have charges dropped, but here he's managed to have convictions dropped, even though he's guilty to the charges. So he's just stepped it up a level.
Also, the fact he's playing for the Valencia Hurricanes in a competition that doesn't exist or has yet to play a game just seems bizarre. I mean,
it brings a big profile to the competition.
It's like he did. It's like the judge almost didn't bother to do any googling. He just heard it and thought, "Oh, they sound legitimate. Yeah, let's go for that." Oh, yeah, who knows?
It doesn't make sense to me. I really do hope that he can demonstrate a greater level of contrition and remorse and restitution.
There's more holes in this story than a slice of Edam, isn't there?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
We had a fan viewing about something that we weren't going to cover in the news story, in the news rundown, because I didn't know it was news as such. But Tom Andrews has got in touch around the idea of the player draft, which was put forward last week by Ian Blease, the CEO over at Salford Red Devils, and Tom Andrews said, "What a cracking idea. Probably play more into the franchise style of league, but could level the playing field over time. Draft positions could be decided on talent given to the pool and league finishing position. Could be held the same night as Man of Steel Award." Well, I'd say don't cross over your events.
I'd separate it. Make it a separate event in the off season to keep people's interest.
Yeah, exactly, and then would engage fans of every team waiting to see what young talent they are getting for next season. So, for people who don't recognise the idea of a player draft. The NFL is the most obvious example because it's the most public example, really, but most American sports